Welcome to another episode of Dynamic Diecasters, where this week we're going to continue our build the Titanic ship, with this one being stages 9 through 14. Um, so when we come back, we'll go ahead and get started on stage 9. Welcome back. So in this episode, we're going to be working on stages 9 through 14. So we're going to go ahead and get started on stage 9. Um, I did it a little bit differently this time, so I didn't spend a lot of time going through the boxes figuring out which box was which. So I already did that. So in stage 9, we're going to be assembling the bow. So I'll go through the parts and then we'll start the build. Um, so there's going to be a bunch of cleats, which are in this big baggie here. I'm not going to go through each individual one. I'll just show you at the end. But there's cleat A, B, C, D, E, and the F, and then there's two spacers. They're these long metal pieces right in here. So that's all the pieces here. And then we've got a joining panel, which is this piece right here. And if you're familiar with this build, this joins the two hull pieces together. So I'm not sure which ones this will go to. Looks like stages 5 and 6. So the one we did in the last episode. And then we've got the starboard top strip of the forecastle hull. So if you remember in the last episode, we put one of these on the top of the hull. In the piece we did in the very first episode, this will be adding it to the one we did in the second. So, and then lastly, we've got 7 PM screws and 12 PM screws, which is, no wait, sorry. It's funny, it says GM 7 PM screws. So there's 7 GM screws and then 12 AM screws. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And in about 30 seconds, we'll show you what we did. See you in a few. And that's it for stage 9. Actually, we did more than I thought we were going to do. So we joined the, or we put the joining plate on this whole section from stages 5 and 6. Then we added, I don't know if you can see them, we added the spacers in here, and we added this part to the part we assembled in the last issue. But then we also attached it to the other side that we did early on, so in stages 1 and 2, I believe. So this is what the first part of the ship actually looks like. So, and obviously this is just the front, so you can imagine how big this thing's going to be, because this is just the very front of the ship. So we didn't do anything with the cleats or the cleats and some of the screws. We'll be using them in a later issue, so they'll just be put to the side for now. We'll move on to stage 10. And again, I already got this ready, so this is more details for the engine. So with this one, we've got the I'm going to take these parts out of this thing. So we've got the forward keel section. Then we've got, in this little baggie here, we've got 2 cylinder heads A, and then B and C, so the 4 different types of cylinder heads. Then we've got, I think, let's see, these are screws. Are there? No. And here, there's more little pieces that are distribution valves and exhaust valves in this little baggie. I don't want to take them out because they're tiny, and I'm afraid that they'll get lost. And then lastly, we've got 6 HM screws. It's funny how in the thing it says 6 PM screws. Go ahead and start this build in about 30 to 45 seconds. We'll show you what we did, but this will be a continuance on the engine pieces that we've already built if you've watched the previous couple episodes. So we'll see in a few. And that's it for stage 10. So what we did, if you recall, I said we got cylinder heads and the exhaust valves, so, and then distributor valves. So from the engine assembly that we completed pretty much in the last episode. Well, I guess we didn't complete it, but we added the cylinder heads on top right here, and then we added the exhaust valves on top, and then the distributor valves right here. So that was the first part of the stage that we did. And then the last part we did was we added the keel right here to the bottom of the assembly we put together in stage 9. So now it's even more together now, in terms of that front part of the ship. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to stage 11. I think this one's where we start working on the first funnel. So if you know the funnels, I'm talking about these parts on the ship. So we'll be working on the very first one today. So in this stage, I mean. Funny, if you guys have been watching my other videos, how much different the packaging is for the Titanic stuff. In comparison even to the, well, actually, to the rest of them. Agora Models must package their stuff differently. So with that, we've got the first part is the tank, which is this part right here. And then we've got the smoke generator holder, which is in this little baggie right here. I'll take these parts out because they're a little bigger. And then we've got the, let's see. It says funnel interior, but the picture does not look like what I'm, maybe it's actually already on here. That's what it is. Okay. It's in here. So this is the funnel interior. And then we've got the grill. Then we've got the funnel, which is this piece in my hand. Then we've got the stake collar, which is this little piece right here. The funnel cap, which is this bigger piece. And then we've got a spring, which is right here. I don't want to lose it. It's kind of tiny. And they only give you one, so I don't want to mess that up. Then there's a filter, which is this little thing right here. And then we've got screw. Oh, I missed this. This is the grill. So what I said was the grill was the funnel interior. So this is the grill that's in my hand. And then we've got screws. So we've got 7 DP screws, and these are small. Holy cow. I can barely see them looking right on it. I'm going to be interested to see what screwdriver I use, because these are small. And then we've got 3 EP screws. These are a little bit bigger. And if you remember from issue 3, the smoke generator, we're going to need that for this part. So, all right, when we come back, we'll show you what it looks like. It'll be about 30 seconds. I don't see it taking that long. All right, see you. And that's it for stage 11. That took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but mainly because I don't know if you could pick it up on camera. These screws, I had to use a P000 screw to be able to get those in there. Screwdriver, I mean. They're very small. So I'll have to do this, what, 3 more times? Yeah, with these. So this is what it looks like. Out of all those parts we got, this is the first funnel. And it says not to test it at this point, that we'll test it later. So this is what it looks like. We've got everything in there, and then the grill on top. They suggest put masking tape to make sure the grill doesn't fall off. So I'll set that to the side for now, and then we'll move on to stage 12, which I think this is part of the deck, another section of the deck when I looked at it earlier. Yeah, it's the forward well deck. So if you recall the first episode, we worked on the forward part of the deck. It was the very front. I don't remember what they call it. I'm not like fully into the ship terms. But this is just like that, where we put together the deck with the decking on it. So we've got the forward well deck, and then we've got the self-adhesive decking, which is a lot nicer than having to lay down wooden panels across the deck. There are some models out there that do that. And then we've got the large well deck hatch, and then we've got the smaller well deck hatch, and then we've got 5 CP screws. I don't think this part will actually take very long. Will take about probably 15 to 20 minutes, so it'll be about a 15-second time lapse or so. If that, it may not even take that long. But we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get done. Let's see you And that's it for stage 12. Just like I thought, it wasn't going to take very long. We literally had to put the decking on the deck assembly, and then we had to install the 2 well hatches that we got in this stage. So this was the bigger one, this one was the smaller one. So that's all we did in this stage. So that was a quick stage. It probably took like 5 minutes actually. Now we're going to move on to stage 13. I think it's another piece of the hull, maybe. It's got the coloring. I didn't really look at this one specifically. So, okay, so this one's details for the forward well deck. Okay, so there's going to be more. It's got another piece in it. We may not be doing anything with it, but there's details to the deck that we just did in stage 12. So with that, we'll go through the parts. First part is keel section B. So if you remember in stage, I think it was 11, we installed the first keel section. This is the second one. I'm imagining that we won't be doing anything with this yet because it would essentially, I would think, well, section B, it would go right here, and there's nothing else to put it to it. We might attach it, but the fact that we don't have a lot of screws in this stage would tell me that we're probably not. But it could be those screws from the previous stage that we didn't do anything with. Anyhow, so next we've got a bunch of little parts. So we've got 2 steps, a large air vent, 2 air vents, 2 fair lead rollers, 4 bits, 2 winches, and then there's only 3 IM screws in here. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll be putting more details on this. So when we get back, we'll show you what we did. See you in about 30 seconds, maybe 20, who knows. Stage 13. So, like I was saying, we were adding more detail to the deck panel. Remember in stage 12, we only installed these. So now you see we installed the winches down here. We installed air vents, the large air vent right here, the Fairfield rollers right here, and then the bits, what they call the bits down here, right here. And then these are steps. So that's what this part looks like so far. Now I noticed in the bag or in this issue, they originally came white. So the winches were white and so were the Fairfield rollers, but they added in another bag for new colors. So that's what I used. So more metal color for those 4. And like I thought, we weren't going to do anything with the keel section that we got in this stage. It says it'll be done in a later stage, as well as the screws that we received. So with that, we'll move on to stage 14. And it looks like we also got a bag for new colors for stage 1, which was the first deck. So I'll just look at installing these on my own separate. Hopefully I didn't glue them in, because if I did, it's going to be hard to get them out. But I'll look to try to replace these with the new color that they sent. But with that being said, we'll move on to stage 14, and this will be the last episode of this, or last stage of this episode. This one's going to be the officers' quarters and decking. So, may not be much to this one with what's here. So the first part, which, okay, it was just in there. So the first part is the swan neck vent A. Sorry. It's these smaller parts here. So the swan vent A is this one, I believe, based on the picture. And then vent B is this piece. Then we've got vent C, that's probably this piece. Cowled vent is this one. Then we got vent D, that's, actually this is probably vent C, and this is vent D. Then we've got an air intake, a little tiny piece that you can't see in my hand. Then we've got the officers' quarters, which is this piece right here. And then we've got the decking. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started on this. In about 30 seconds, I'll show you what we did, and we'll conclude the episode. See you in about 30 seconds. And that's it for stage 14. Actually, that only took 5 minutes. So, we started with all these pieces separate. So we first had to add the decking to the officers' quarters. Then we had to add all these vents. So we added the coupler vent first, then we added this vent, then that vent, and then this one. That's like vent B, C, and D. Then this little air vent right here. We didn't use actually B. It said it would be fitted in a future issue. So got to keep that one separate. But this is where we're sitting right now. So, um, like I said previously, what we did in stages 9 is we fit the spacer onto this side and added this piece. And then I believe it was stage 10, we put these together. Then we added the keel section also. And then in um, stage 10 also, we finished off or continued to complete the engines, adding the cylinder heads and the exhaust and the distributor valves on top here. Then 11, we completed our first funnel. 12, we did the deck. And then 13, we added more details to the deck. We also got another keel section that we're not doing anything with. And then in 14, because 13 was where we did the detail, and then 14 was the officer quarter decking. So we're pushing right along on this build. So the next episode we'll be doing will be another solar system orrery build. And I'll try to set that one up, or we'll try to set that one up differently. That way we're not trying to figure out what parts we're using. The first one was a little confusing because of the way the setup was. But now that we're familiar with it, we'll do better. So that'll be that episode, and then after that, we'll do another Knight Rider build. We might possibly have a brick building blitz video at some point between there, maybe. I know my kids want to film another video. It might be a brickhead or one of our bigger builds. But if you guys enjoyed this episode and you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And then like the video if you, of course, if you liked it, and then hit that bell so you get notified when our videos come out. Typically, we come out with them every Friday. I know the last one that I put out came out on Saturday. We had little issues with editing, but this one will come out on Friday. But for all of us at the Heart of Geek, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good night.